you enjoyed the first tour, let me show you the part of Dayton that I grew up in. This is South Dayton. North Dayton, where I live now, was always considered the rich part of town. Now, my two family not included. This house used to be beautiful, absolutely gorgeous, and these people have destroyed it, and it breaks my heart. Look at that. That's where I grew up. That was a garage, a gas garage. This is right on the Taunton River. So we'll go down here and park, and I will take you for a little walk. It looks like it wants to rain, so we won't take a long walk. Look what I just managed to catch. Can you see it? A boat going up the river. Most of them are being put up for the winter now. And this right here is where I grew up. Right there was a small beach that we used to swim in. My backyard is right across this little street from it. And the tide is coming in. We used to be able to tell if the tide was coming in, the boats would be pointing out towards the ocean. So you knew the tide was coming up river. This is a little park that they made in the last couple of years. It used to be called Lover's Lane when I was down here as a kid. We moved away from here when I was 12. But that's where you always went parking. Not me, of course, because, you know, not me. And I've talked before about, we had a Colorworks. It was a company that made color tints. And it was on the other side of this beautiful area right here. The spillway for the water that was being discharged came out of here. And this whole thing would be whatever color they were tinting. So it'd be red, blue, green, and it was bad. When we went swimming, I've said this, we would come out of the water different colors. It was one of the most polluted bodies of water for many years. The river is now, contrary to popular opinion, absolutely as close to pristine as it's going to get, I think. I've seen the water reports on it. It is gorgeous. Back then, we would break out in hives after swimming in it. But you can't live on the water and tell little kids that they can't swim. That's not how it works. This waterway was a port back in the 1800s. So you'll see the wharfs where they brought the shipping or cargo boats up. And you'll see some of the old captain's houses. I don't know how old. Some of them might have signs. I'll see. I'll let you know. Aren't they beautiful? Look at that. There is a sign on this one. We get closer, I'll read it. And the wharfs, all stone set. And most of them have had some work done, but it's not been crazy amount. There you go. Before 1775. Here's another gorgeous home. And I feel raindrops. Quite a few of them. Son of a gun. Shoot. I'm gonna have to turn around. It's starting to rain pretty good. And if you can hear it, it's now pouring. Why do I think this is funny? I'm gonna be soaked. It's a beautiful day for a walk. Actually, I timed that pretty good. I mean, I'm wet, but considering how hard it's raining right now, I could have been taking a real shower. All right, I guess that concludes this part of the South Dayton tour. Maybe I'll drive you the rest of the way. Thank goodness I wasn't any further. Look at this pour. So this is where we were when I turned around. Then when you get down to this end we're coming to, there used to be, got washed away in the hurricane of 1938, but there was a big amusement park with Ferris wheels and rides and everything. Now, don't be nasty, it was before my time, but they took trolley cars down here, and it was a great big event. And that's all gone. It was Dighton Rock Park. But now they're all little streets, which they were before. I'm not going to go down it. It's tiny. But you can go down some of these roads that are barely paved. Probably in the early 80s, they put a boat ramp in down here. Here's the boat ramp. And then that goes back up towards what would be my house to go to the 3 Mile River now. And then this goes out to Mount Hope Bay. This is all the Taunton River. Another 5 or 6 miles, maybe 10, and you come out to the bay and then to the Atlantic Ocean. This all floods during hurricanes and floods badly. The house I showed you where I lived had watermarks from 1954 hurricane, which were about 3.5, 4 feet high, up halfway up the windows. Right at this bridge, we change over from Dighton into Somerset. Now this bridge has a fast current going into that little cove, and nobody goes into there. But funny story, when Steve and I were first married, he used to love to go out to that little point right there and fish, but he caught mostly eels. One time he was fishing, gosh, we had only been married much less than a year, and he hooked the meat of his hand on this part, and the hook didn't go all the way through, but he did not want to stop fishing. And we had to play let's make a deal. I was 18, he was 21, that we would go to the hospital, have them, push the hook through and remove it. The only way he would agree to go is if I promised him that we would come back so we could fish some more. One time I came home from work and he had the bathtub full of water, salt water, that he had brought in, and eels swimming in it, because he wanted to show my brother, who was 8 years old then. Yeah, that was a thrill. Oh, it's really hard. Wow, wait a minute, rain's coming in my window. Ah! Holy mackerel. There's one out here. Look at this. Oh, I am so thankful I wasn't a mile or two into this walk. But you're worth it. I am going to go down one of these roads. I haven't been here for years, so I don't know what I'm getting into. Look at this. So you've got all of these houses on the water. I can't even imagine what that must cost for insurance, because the water is right there. I'm going home. This isn't fun anymore. This is back to the little park. This is what we call the lower road. This is the road between my house and the river. This was out of bounds to most people because it really was the other side of the tracks. And it wasn't. The people down here were phenomenal. They didn't have money. This was not paved for most of the time I lived here. And this was, my house is over here. You come right around, and there's the river right there. And this is where we had a little beach, and it's all grown in. These are old captain's houses. Another one here, one here. There's the boatyard. And then this poor thing, I don't know what year, but I'm sure the 1700s. Isn't that a shame? And these houses have all gone underwater too many times to count in floods. Even when we have a massively high tide now, the lower road has to get shut down because the water crosses. So that's it, folks. And look at, yeah, bright sun coming out. Monsoons 30 seconds ago. All gone. Well, that was great fun. Can I go get a cup of tea now?